Oftentimes we get experts in DUI trials that are experts in pharmacokinetics. Big fancy word, and they usually come with a big fancy curriculum vitae. Well, don't be frightened by their fancy CV, okay? That may mean they know a lot about scientific stuff, but they might not know very much at all when it comes to standardized field sobriety tests. And you can very quickly point out that they're not a trained law enforcement officer. When you have an expert in pharmacokinetics, one of the things that you can do is what I call the takedown. Now again, usually these people will come in with their fancy CV and they'll seem very educated, and you can say to yourself, oh my gosh, how am I going to do this? Well, I was in that position one time, and then I did what I called the takedown. First of all, you have to realize that when these people come into trial, most of the time they have not even met with the defendant. And this is how you defeat their testimony. First of all, let's pretend for a moment that you have a defendant who is claiming that he couldn't do the field sobriety test because he had a bad back. Okay? In that scenario, these are the type of questions you would want to ask of their defense expert on your cross-examination. Sir, tell me about the physical examination that you did on the defendant at your office to establish that his back was not so bad that he couldn't do the field sobriety test. Now, most of the time, they didn't do that. They didn't do any type of examination. So the next question you're going to ask is, oh, okay, well, you didn't conduct a physical examination of the defendant. Then, sir, describe to me the meeting you had with the defendant's doctor wherein you were able to establish that he suffered from arthritis or whatever, back pain or knee pain, whatever it is, such that he couldn't do the field sobriety test. And the defense expert's going to say, I didn't do that. Oh, okay, sir. So you didn't meet with the doctor in person at your office, but you didn't meet with the defendant in person. So then tell me about the phone call you made to the doctor to discuss the defendant's medical conditions. Because surely, sir, you spoke with the defendant's doctor, right? No, I didn't. Oh, okay. So you didn't meet the defendant in person. You didn't meet the doctor in person. You didn't make a phone call. Then tell me about when it was that you reviewed the defendant's medical records and doctor's reports. You see where I'm going with this? He's going to say, well, I didn't do that either. And then you start your next question off by again repeating all of the things that he didn't do. So, sir, you didn't have a meeting. You didn't have a phone call. You didn't review the medical reports. Then tell me about the meeting or phone call with the defendant's family members or friends that you had to corroborate the fact that the defendant has shared with you that he's got this medical condition such that he couldn't do the field sobriety test. Well, I didn't. Oh, you didn't. So you didn't meet with the defendant. You didn't meet with the defendant's doctor. You didn't even talk to the defendant's doctor on the phone. You didn't review medical reports, and you didn't meet with his family or friends. Surely you did something to corroborate this idea. Let me ask you this, sir. How much time did you spend face-to-face with the defendant before forming this opinion that you've shared with us today that the defendant was not under the influence of alcohol? It's probably going to be something like 0. Most of the time, the experts have never met with the defendant. It's usually the expert has met with the defense attorney, or the defendant has filled out some sort of form that the defense expert is relying on. And you end it by saying this. So all you did, according to your testimony, was review some paperwork that the defendant and his attorney filled out. You watched the arrest video, and then you cashed the check they paid you. How much have you been paid for your testimony? And that's a killer question. That is one question that Ms. Earlywine did not ask of their defense expert. How much money was he getting paid? She should have done that. Finally,